Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Unquestioned Podcast with Louis Debaere and Willem Himpe. And you guys, you can see again, we're not in the mountains, we're not in, let's say, very tropical destinations. We're the start of the winter in Europe, so we're back in the grind, I would say. Luigi, how... Okay. The winter is coming, let's say. But how has been life for you currently, Louis? And as well, let me know, how have you been doing you have some fun facts of health or from physical exercise you've been doing lately?
Health, money tips or health?
No, health. From
Yeah.
from sleeping or things maybe.
Yeah. About sleep, I don't know if we've mentioned this, but actually a big podcast sponsor is 8 Sleep.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the only ones, but they are the Silicon Valley story selling you better sleep. And they do that by cooling your mattress. So it doesn't heat up at night. You don't feel like you need to roll around too much. Keeps your mattress cool by having water run through sort of a fitted sheet. They used to replace your whole mattress. Now it's a mattress cover.
Mm-hmm.
And I have one. I have the latest generation. One of my crazy purchases. I like to test tech products, and this is definitely a tech product because you have an old PC-like thing next to your bed that's connected to the internet.
And it just like, does it use, for example, let's say improvements to really, with sensors, accurately give you the right temperature throughout the night in a way? That's why you need the whole computer for.
It keeps the mattress, actually it keeps the temperature consistent however you want it. And then it can function as an alarm by gradually heating up the mattress, which will make you wake up hopefully not too grumpily, but like kind of a smooth curve.
Mm-hmm.
Also without like waking anyone up with sound. You
Mm-hmm.
can also heat 2 parts of the mattress independently.
So if your right leg wants to be hot and your left leg wants to be cold, you can.
That, and then there's some analytics telling you, oh, you were in this sleep stage for most of the night. You
Okay.
want to hit some good deep sleep, REM sleep, all that good stuff. And they've
Yeah.
announced something new.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great, perfect upsell.
It's turning into an ad here.
Well, their business practices. It's a pillow that can heat and cool, and the tagline is also very well done. Never flip your pillow again. So same thing. They managed to have, made some form of
A
pillow
smaller
cover,
version.
pillowcase,
Yeah.
have the water running through it, and the price tag is a whopping 1,800 euros.
Oh,
So I don't know if you and the missus are.
what's the difference between the whole mattress? So 1,800 for the pillow, but what is the one for the full mattress?
Full mattress is something like 3,000 on for the late. Yeah, so yeah, it's definitely not cheap, and I think part of the reason is because they operate kind of like a startup, so they want good margins, maybe Apple-like margins, and that's really hard to do for a hardware product that you can return within 30 days. It's big, it's heavy, it's bulky. There's maintenance. There's even a subscription that you have to pay if you want to take full advantage of it.
Yeah. Well, I would say two things that now comes to mind. One thing is it's very similar to the Whoop. The Whoop is the wristband I use, which I'm as well stuck to that subscription, but quite happy about. And the funny thing is like 1,800 or 3K plus for the full thing. Let's say I would like, it's a smart pricing, make it very expensive for just a pillow. So like, okay, if I'm gonna spend a small 2K, why not do the full thing? But okay, where
There's a bunch of believers and yeah, if you're into that kind of thing.
Okay. Well, I would say let's kick into the episode. In besides sleeping for better health, this episode we want to talk about what we're doing right now: creating content, producing things, putting out there what's inside of our head or what we've experienced for other people to either be educated, entertained, or any other feeling they might consume. And the thing is, a beautiful statistic that I actually learned via you is that around on the internet, it's around 99% or maybe a bit less people are consuming content. That means scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on or watching YouTube videos, really like just taking it in. And only 1% is really generating content. So producing things, putting video, audio, or any other type of media out there, which is quite insane to see this diversion. You would expect like more people producing stuff, but maybe quickly I'll hand it over to you.
It sounds off. You're like only 1%, because there's so much
Mm-hmm.
on every type of
Correct.
question you may have. There's probably an answer because it's already been asked and it's been answered in different ways. But if you think about it, when is the last time that you've created something? I'm not asking you because we're obviously recording something, but ask yourself, your parents, your sisters, your friends, have they ever made a YouTube video? Have they ever uploaded it? And then when is the last time that they may have commented on something that is not a private WhatsApp thread? When have you answered a question? You're always reading,
Mm-hmm.
these answers, but when have you contributed to a forum? And the answer from most people is never, or maybe once or twice. So just because of the fact that something can be read 100 or 1,000 or 100,000 times, that doesn't really matter. A
Mm-hmm.
whole soccer field of people, a whole city can read the same post, no problem. That dynamic makes it make a lot of sense once you think about it.
Yeah, and if I see my personal relationships of people that really produce content on LinkedIn or have a YouTube video, it's, I think, really like maybe 100 or 200 people, 1 out of 200 people that really produce content. And basically, it's always the same answer I get when I say like, "Ah, why don't you share that? Or why don't you post that?" It's like, yeah, I'm not relevant, or I don't want to share that or stand out, or someone else will do it. And I think it comes a little bit from us as scavengers or hunters and scavengers, that we want to be part of the group, the entity. We don't want to do anything weird that's a bit off, so our family or friends would dislike them. And that's kind of, I feel like, as well, for myself, I am sometimes reluctant in sharing, let's say, my thoughts, my beliefs and so on, because you're scared of the disapproval or the rejection of other people. And that's kind of a little bit sad, because the world would be a lot more valuable if we would have a lot more people producing content out there than only consuming, let's say.
Yeah, and the good news is that you shouldn't really worry, because most people are, including us, are too busy thinking about themselves anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not gonna. I mean, we're probably way less exposed and way less cringe or ridiculous than we think, simply because attention is the most important thing. It's so scarce, and you
Mm-hmm.
should actually feel grateful and realize that you're lucky if somebody spent a minute looking at your video instead of one of the other types of content literally fighting for your attention every day.
Mm-hmm.
There's a second part to the statistic, and that is about 9%. I think these numbers are made up as just it's just to relativize. 9% shares the content or interacts with it, puts out a comment,
Or
and that's
like
also very.
whatever.
So if you like this episode, for example, please share it with your friends, so we can reach a larger audience. So the creation is one thing, but telling people about it, uh, leaving a comment, um, is also part of the process. And then there's purely consuming, reading, having something in your queue
It's a majority.
that most people do if they even finish the piece of content. By the way,
Yeah, but 9% is quite, yeah, it's people interacting with it, and that shows often people that interact with a piece of content, that 9% is really involved, let's say, is really moved or really wants to share with someone else because they think the other person might get some value again, to get the satisfaction of other people. And one thing, actually, maybe I'm hopping to a bit other topic, or maybe not, it's similar. Like today with AI, we see it. Everyone, I think, who is on LinkedIn can see it. Since ChatGPT came out, their whole feed has been really AI heavy. A lot of people editing, changing things with AI, posting. The people, that 1% that's posting, are posting a lot more with these tools. And
Really?
I really feel it, but it's the same in other feeds as well. When you maybe on Instagram or in, it's a little bit less over there because then it's very visual, but it's just then with AI edits of other content, clips and so on. So this is kind of the 1% is really, are they going to excel and get more attention because they use these tools, do you think? Or will it now more people, let's say that other 99%, that will now be incentivized? Oh, okay, I can just now create without being, because it's less work and as well putting myself out there. What do you actually think, Louis? And I'll share my opinion.
Yes. What I think will happen with AI is we're gonna raise the bar
Mm-hmm.
again. So before, in the time of forums, we only had textual questions and answers, and that was already a big thing. Like, I write something, and within a few minutes, I can get an answer from somebody living anywhere in the world. And now, you and me are creating this podcast, this video podcast, even. And I think you might ask the question with something like Sora, Sora 2, that was just released from OpenAI. They made kind of a ChatGPT for video, letting you create any type of like cinema quality world, virtual world or adventure. Like, let's say you and me flying on the back of a dragon or on
Mm-hmm.
a magic carpet somewhere, you and me in the desert with just like that. And you can ask yourself, is that creation? Are we going to go from 1% creators to 10% or more? And I would still put that in the consumption field, in the reader field, because you barely have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And your feed is going to be full of people that insert themselves as then a new James Bond, or put themselves on Harry Potter castle, or on a Star Wars spaceship. That's not really, doesn't feel like creation. What's going to happen is the 1% of creators are going to become programmers, in a sense, maybe not with code, but with natural language. And they're going to create experiences for other experiences, such as Sora 2 that I just described. So they're going to be able to create entire games, entire adventures. Let's say you're passionate about staying fit and you're also really into active music, that you can create your own workout program, your own workout app
Mm-hmm.
with easy to use tools, something that would have been just too hard, too big of a hurdle for you to do before,
Before.
and share it with your friends, and then they become consumers, but they see themselves in the apps, and things like that. So that's what I think is going to happen. People are going to create programs. It's the highest form of creation, is creating some form of software that runs while you sleep, and instead of your video being watched, it's going to be your game, a lot of games, I'm sure, your app being used, and then people interacting with them and inserting themselves in creative ways.
Okay. That's an interesting point of view. One thing I would want to add actually to that is that I think if that thing, or the way you see it, would become a reality, it will be a lot of like smaller communities, let's say, that's into punk rock and I don't know, skydiving, the combination of that, and then there's a space there where it really works well, and only still it will be the 1% that's producing this, producing the content, but it's a limited amount of people that will consume it, because it's possible to go so niche. And this kind of 1% that produces will remain the same, in my opinion. The other people will, the 99% will still consume a lot more higher quality stuff, a lot more things that they really educate them better, entertain them a lot better, but they will not, for example, do it themselves.
Yeah, that's a good point that you raised. These private experiences, I hadn't thought about that, because before you had to all go to Minecraft or Fortnite, Call of Duty to the same game. But what if you could create an experience that's just as unique as uh, your friend group, your community, or even your family, or like let's say the
Mm-hmm.
smallest group you could think of. And an example that we have is our group chat
Mm-hmm.
with Sim. So think of your personal group chat or think of this group chat. We have a particular challenge that we like to do, the Bring Sally Up challenge. What if we could sort of gamify that? There's a few ingredients. There's this song that we're following, there's the routine, and then there's sharing the stats.
Mm-hmm.
What if our boring group chat became sort of an interactive game, reminding us, oh, it's been a week since you did this challenge. Yeah, gamifying it. And what if this only took, let's say, an hour or less for one of us to set up?
Yeah, it would, for example, first it we could stay within that small community or other people that are as well into entrepreneurship, in health, in doing a Sally Up challenge, which is a push-up challenge. If they all would fit well in there, they would perfectly fit in that group and even, for example, wanted to pay to be part of that group. So it's really kind of this niche experience that will could break out of a group chat. And yeah, I personally believe that will go much more. These massive groups will less exist, and everyone will follow their own path into this small niche groups of content where they really align perfectly with the goals and the vision and the content that gets put out there. Maybe one topic that is nice to flow into. It's now creating content becomes much more easier with these tools. The same with quick prototyping, quick creating a demo. And we both come from the software world where we really see it kind of revolutionizing how startups being built. In a weekend, a startup completely gets built, checked if the market is there, and either get released and even get funding with already a demo happening. Or we see as well some big enterprises trying it, but not succeeding yet because they have a lot of, let's say, legacy or other things where they have or incentivized not to do it because they don't want to disrupt the main business. So maybe what do you actually think? First of all, creating content amazing, but now creating prototypes and these experiences very quickly with these AI tools. What is your point of view? Is this a good thing? How is this going to evolve and so on?
Yes, so a f- I had a funny realization, and that is that even if it's become easier than ever to build a production ready software application, production ready meaning you can share it. There's some security, like there's email recovery, all these things you don't think about when you build something for the first time. Emphasis on production, the hardest part,
Mm-hmm.
right? I do think when it comes to giving a demo, that faking the right parts, mocking the right parts can still be quite helpful to validate something.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, again, it's never been easier to set up a website, a server, even an app. Uh, in order to validate something, if you know what you're doing, if you've identified if you take your main challenge, your problem you want to solve, and you've identified these sub problems, the steps, if you know with relative certainty as a technical person that these are solved problems that you can easily, given enough time and manpower, solve these implementation challenges, then I think it's okay to serve people some of
Fake or
a form of a demo. And yeah, you can debate this, but I think so much is making people believe and interact with things. So I will take a good prototype that is realistic. And there's plenty of examples. For example, the first iPhone could only run one app at a time and not like switch apps. Like for their demos, only one app could run. And then they had to like restart the system just because they were so tight deadline wise with the hardware being ready and still fine tuning, optimizing things. But I think that is acceptable if you want to validate and sell something because maybe there's nothing to sell, maybe there's no interest, even when you fake it. What do you think?
correct. I have as well a unique experience in that because Me as my startup, I said it in previous episodes. If you're selling a piece of software, you often kind of hearing to the customers what current pains or other pains they might be having. And if you're a technical founder, you can know like, oh, okay, this is a feature they really want. And then you can kind of either lie or kind of at the moment on the spot say like, yes, we can build that is going to be on the roadmap and we're gonna release it. And you can even the same day create kind of a little bit of a fake demo so they see how it is. And the only thing that's a danger here is, which we see in a lot of startup software companies, is the seller and the technical person are on the line. Because the seller can feel that there's a pain and knows how to sell something. But if the technical person knows that this cannot be built in the deadline or even cannot be built at all, then it's really a dangerous place to be, because the seller is selling something and even it's receiving the money already, but the technical person cannot deliver in a way. And then you create kind of really, let's say, toxic environments and the customer not being happy and so on. So
Actually makes me smile. You know why? Because
why?
you've been both the technical person and the salesperson, and you still sometimes fell into the trap of wanting to promise stuff which is good, but then seeing that there's just too many directions, I guess. Can you elaborate?
The thing is, a lot of founders are often optimistic about the future. They're really optimistic, like, oh, what if we could build this and help this community or change with AI this problem that is taking so many people's lives, let's say. Well, the optimistic thing is really good to start a company, but then if you're in a call and they say like, actually this specific feature we really want, the same optimistic founder will say like, oh yeah, we can perfectly build that. Okay, in his head, he might be very quickly thinking, okay, we have to do this and this to make this possible. And then they give a certain date or a certain moment when it will be released, which will be based off their characteristic as well, very optimistic. And then afterwards they have to realize it. And then you never know the details beforehand. You always say it, assumption is the mother of all f-ups. So you assume a lot of things in the sales process. Also, you do have maybe the technical skills and you know how to be done. But once you really trying to realize it, there's a lot of things that will happen that you cannot predict beforehand. And that is kind of a really dangerous thing with this
Even
AI
when you've
world.
developed the platform, even
Yeah.
when you're as close as can be to the implementation of the product,
hmm
you know the history of the product, it's still so yeah, maybe yeah, this will help.
A good example that I'm gonna give, and then maybe we're gonna wrap up, is I have a software. Relivo has a software where you really easily can find all the pictures where you're in from a massive gallery from an event. So that's really nice. Out of 1 million pictures, suddenly there's only 10 pictures of you in it. One click and you have it. A customer really wanted in video, but video is basically when my optimistic mind thinks of like every, let's say in our video, those are just all pictures, just shots every time. You can take a picture of every single millisecond and then use the same technology on it. But this is a lot more photos, a lot more scale. And in the sales process, you think like, okay, actually we could do this. And I think we could deliver it at this time. But then in reality, it's almost there. We were really working hard, but it was a lot tougher and it took a lot longer to get this realized than expected. So this is kind of I'm the same person. I'm the developer and also the seller, but it's like you're fighting with with yourself in a way, with the optimist seller and with maybe the pessimistic technical person, because they need to make it into reality, let's say, what
Yeah,
the optimistic seller has sold.
and they
So
want they also want to be able to deliver some
hmm
a piece of quality software. It's funny because yeah, we want to dream, of course,
hmm
but these trade-offs, like small story, is that Spotify actually, when they were looking for the next project,
hmm
they wanted to do video.
hmm
At the time, now 20 years ago, videos were just we didn't have the bandwidth on the internet. It was just too large of a file size, and if you look at it, you'll see that music takes up way less space than video, and so they went with that just because it
The
was gonna be
technology caps.
easier, yeah, to roll out. And now we're 20 years later, and maybe things are different. But yeah, to get started, you need these correct trade-offs.
I think the times are actually the same. It's just a different technology. Now people, for example, we want to do AI generation for full movies, but the AI generation is not there yet. For example, if that would be your company ID. But what does work is just text. So basically just a chatbot where the technology is ready for. So then it's a way smarter to hop on that than to create
Right, yeah, good example.
if Spotify immediately maybe would have started with video, they maybe or wouldn't exist today because all of their money in trying to build it, the technology would not be, or the infrastructure would not be there to make it into a reality. And that's the last thing I would want to say is, if you're a founder, based on my own learnings, it's a good thing to be optimistic, and it's a good thing as well to promise sometimes big things, but as well, don't promise too big things with too strict deadlines, because then you'll lose the trust of your early adopters. And your early adopters are super important because they help you iterate over the different versions to get to a product that will work for the masses. So that is one tip that I'll give. Trust is something super valuable. Trust cannot be really with AI. It's still people selling to people. So trust is very quickly lost. So don't underestimate the value of it.
Love
That's
it.
what I
Good
want to add.
final insights.
Okay, perfect. So, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this episode where we gone a little bit of AI, a little bit consuming versus producing, and as well some startup software engineer and founder insights. Hope you enjoyed it. See you again on the next episode of the Unquestioned Podcast.
Yes.
See you soon. Bye-bye.